Welcome everybody to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. Mud Flood was Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. The pulling guard agenda, war among kings of the past, having been taught a lesson that I will never forget. A humble future was not only accepted but embraced by Do Re Mi. As at this moment in time, I embrace the division the God Most High has presented for me to understand. I understand my purpose in this life and the eternal spirit. First, explain the flat earth nation. Second, prove the golden ages past. Third, trust that mud flood was Armageddon. Goal, provide the remnant a place they can survive Gog and Magog that will be surrounding those last of the walking death traps called your body of flesh and bone. Buenos dias, ¿qué pasó? Es muy bien. I'm glad to see you. Wait, because today, sometimes people say I have jewelry, copper jewelry for my arthritis, and I've worn this for 10 years. Since April 27th, well, it's actually more, April 27th, 2013. What happened on that day? That's what I woke up with time to share and time to research because I'm doing a show tonight with Vara and RJ taking questions about mud flood was Armageddon from people in the European Union, filtered through Vara. But how did this all start? The Spirit, the Lord woke me up, and as per usual, I think I'll go over some of the tabs of the screenshots since yesterday. Here's a thumbnail for tonight. That's the thumbnail for this show. This is the thumbnail for tonight. Tying in, just the apple cider vinegar and questions. So that's how you do it. Look at here. Sometimes, though, through starvation or a snapped neck, as in the other sites, none of the creatures at this cemetery, located on the outskirts of the Red Sea port of Bernice, shown signs that they had died at the hands of people, because they are known for their countless animals to honor their gods. Look at, I don't know what, I just had to take a picture of. They won the culture war. He's the dungeon master. The gods fear the power that would drive this man to buy this shirt. He is totally into dragon lore, and he probably could tell you some pretty good jokes. Huh. Okay. So this is part of this big cycle of the universe. There's a cat, Anubis, Ishtar, I believe, and then his priest, who is that? Horus, Osiris, Isis, Ma'at, Horus, And then they just had the cats walk right on it. Right after they wrote this important message, there's cats everywhere back in the day. I don't see the cat in this one. Maybe that's a cat. That's not a cat. So this is a famous wood picture that is famous because it shows, it says they didn't understand perspective. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to get into the inside story of a deadly Air Force crash. October 30th. That's not the one I was looking for. I was looking for April 27, 2013. That's the date on the bracelet I showed you when a crew who did what my son did in Afghanistan out of Kandahar. Well, on April 27, a tragic incident occurred involving a U.S. Air Force MC-12W Liberty King Air 350. The aircraft with the call sign Independence 08 was part of the 361st Expeditionary Reconnaissance Squadron and was on a combat intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance mission over Afghanistan when it suffered a loss of control, a flat spin because of ice that had accumulated on the wing, and crashed approximately 110 miles northeast of Kandahar. The entire crew on board was lost. Their lives in the accident, murder. Let us take a moment to remember, this is the computer, to honor these brave airmen who made the ultimate sacrifice. Captain K. Nishizuka, Captain Brandon L. Pryor, Staff Sergeant Richard R. Dickinson, and Staff Sergeant Daniel N. Fan. These individuals are outstanding combat veterans who had served numerous rotations in the Middle East, putting their lives on the line for their nation. Their dedication and sacrifice it was forgotten as soon as it was printed in the paper, maybe one time. I don't know how many of these bracelets they sold. You know, that list those men from Operation Enduring Freedom, killed in action the 26th of April, 2013. And it has their Vine Vini Conquistum. They came, they saw, they conquered. And they were, you know, the most decorated, for 2 years in a row during the time, this was my son's flat spin when he was involved in one of the previous incidences with the MC-12 Liberty. It didn't stop them, but it was in December 2012. And that was during the time when dare I say it, in my opinion, the gay president, Barack Obama, was accused of being soft on terror. Well, they had an agenda for him to win the presidency and not be seen as soft on terror. So they were using that plane that I just showed you to bag and tag. All of a sudden, do you remember when there were people using drones and there were other people capturing and killing? Well, that was the reconnaissance group that you just read about. These guys on the MC-12 Liberty. They gave their lives. 4 airmen killed in a crash. Tragedy strikes twice because this And then finally, it was completely removed from the U.S. Air Service as it was planned. For persons, the orbit stalls that resulted in significant near catastrophic attitude loss highlighted this limited training. 4 times, my son was on one of them, before those 4 men died, they knew that they had insufficient training on how to recover from a stall, because the MC-12 is physically different. It's mission different. The MC-12 has over 40,000 additional parts and systems and different aerodynamic characteristics, fitted with extra fuel tanks, an array of antenna, external equipment, weighs more, has more drag than the King Air 350. The MC-12W did not undergo normal development nor operation testing, accounting for those differences, but they don't care. They really don't. There's something that, because they're, this is an old aircraft and it pulls to the left. It pulls up to the left by pointing towards the horizon, which is opposite required for proper recovery. Because they didn't use, nobody's trained on this. They don't, nobody's trained on this old plane anymore. So let's see that. Well, there's one for sale. The Beechcraft. There it is. So this was the super top secret mission that got retrofitted so they could surveil and listen in on people and track them in Afghanistan with that new device you carry in your pocket. All of the important things in the world came down to about 30 crews of men who could fly in these planes and listen in and find out where they'd been and end their lives. But where did this come from? I mean, the super designation was dropped in 1996. It was a turboprop produced by Beechcraft. But how old? I mean, it's not even a jet. They needed something that could go low and slow. 3 productions were built in 72, but I really don't think much changed on it since it was, in the late 1930s and 40s. Let's go down to the bottom. Usually they'll talk about other ones. Just give it 1 second. The day the music died, that'd be Buddy Holly and those guys. They must have been flying in one. That's the type of, because I heard it was used for mail delivery in the 1930s. That's low and slow. So there was a terrible accident. 30 years old. He was from Beale Air Force. Hundreds of people lined up to honor an airman who was killed in last month when his aircraft crashed in Afghanistan. He was on it. Now, I'm not sure which ones I have pulled up. Let's see. Well, I'll just be honest with you. In 2013, I looked for a gay basketball or football player. Now, that was the thing. I think I should have put NFL. I had the wrong sport. Take out the scandal part. Don't want to hear, we don't. Michael Sam. Yeah, see, born 1990, first publicly gay player to be drafted by the NFL. So when was that draft? I think it was in April 2013. That's when he was the Defensive Player of the Year, First Team Award. And while the world was focused on would he be ignored because he had come out as a homosexual, or would they go ahead and draft him, they had their agenda news story that day. So when one of those 4 people were killed in Afghanistan, and he would have been the first open homosexual killed in combat action because he was spying for the United States at that time, he didn't get, I guess, what the promoters of the LGBTQ plus movement would have needed. It was what did they call him? The Chat GTP, a true American hero. But no, they said they'd be remembered forever, but he was not, because they had an agenda. They had a gay person that was ready to come out to the football league. Where is that? Michael Sam, came out as gay in April. So they already had an agenda as it came up. And so when the world and the LGBTQ community was presented with, a real one of these 4, and I'm not going to tell you, it's not important, but 4 of them died. One of them was taking advantage of the don't ask, don't tell, and then it got changed into it's okay. And I guess it's okay. They won the culture war, but they could have been making movies about because from what my son tells me about what they did, and that probably gives it away, because my son, I already said, my son did what he did, so that's it. I have only jumped out of those planes one time. All of my other jumps have been on static lines, and then I did one jump in that one place right outside Canyon City, and I need to do like one more static line jump before I can do a solo. But for $100, it's money well spent. Tell you what, we should meet up in Colorado Springs and just head down there and do a little jumpity doo-dah. But anyway, so they had a hero, but you know, he didn't do good. But it was at the 2013 draft, 33 defensive ends. And maybe he did get picked on and didn't get high enough. When was this draft? Oh, it was from the 25th through the 27th. And Michael Sam had not been picked yet. And so there, oh, I wasn't sharing. Okay, so April 27th. The 21 draft was between April 25th, April 27th. Michael Sam had not been drafted yet. Getting what I was going to show you is that, you know, he had a great 2013 season. He came out as on the openly gay superstar, defensive player of the year from Texas, and he likes gay men. He likes other gay men. That's, and then he didn't have a very good career, but he sure had a good college career, probably that Hall of Fame. He finally got picked, number 249 in the 7th round. So they had an agenda. So they didn't talk about, you know, the people who died in these plane crashes on the 27th. And I'm telling you that one of them was it wasn't a don't ask, don't tell thing, but without their, you know, because they had an agenda, they've lost the opportunity to have a super war hero. And that's the way it goes in my life. The only reason I know that is because my son did the same thing and almost died. Been wearing this bracelet with this as a remembrance and will continue to wear it. So they had these catacombs with cats in the 1800s. Are you kidding me? Yeah, she was kind of grossed out by it too.
To the deity, and then according to the text, several times a year, all of these cat mummies, some of them in containers, the bronze coffins or wooden cases, would then be taken by the priest down to the catacombs underneath the temple. In the late 1800s, there's a record of something like about 180,000 cat mummies that were exported to the UK for fertilizer.
180,000 cats for fertilizer?
Kind of sad.
Oh.
Exactly. The expression she makes is perfect for what she just heard. They grew their food on dead cats saved from, you did that, Great Britain. Blueberry picking outside of Auschwitz. It's highlighted, which can mean only one thing. I'm to do right click, choose, left click, search, go to the images. Hey, it's Nazis outside of Auschwitz eating blueberries. You know, who would have didn't think that the guards at Auschwitz didn't have to, you know, get a day off every now and then? Hey, that's not a girl. That's a guy. But they just have, you know, girls just want to have fun. And who doesn't like blueberries? Everybody has an agenda and lives the life they live. Hey, there's a cat. How old What they call Egypt is not they've got the wrong Cairo. You know it's in the United States. I know it. American people know it. 100 gilded wooden cat statues, bronze statues representing the goddess of cats, but they killed all the little pussy cats. They wringed their necks. Who knew? I don't know why they stopped excavating in 2013. What? Does this cat dress make my butt look fat? It's a fishing amulet. You put it on your fishing line. Cat eating a fish under a table. Okay. Cat not eating a fish. Cat mummies used for fertilizer somewhere. Another cat mummy, cat mummy. So those pilots initially trained in simulators based on civilian versions of the plane before shifting in to the MC-12Ws at Beals. Nothing was ever safe about it. Insufficient training on I got the whole report here. Everybody knows there's cover-ups. They lie. They lie. I woke up looking for this so hard, but I typed in the NBA. I forgot he was in the NFL. From the premier soccer or football conference in the Southern Conference down there where all the champions are from Alabama and everybody. SEC. They rule the football world, man. You won't find it in the basketball. I was trying hard though. Oh, I was looking for something else. Never mind. So we're going to go over a lot of Bible questions, and I thought that this might be a good heads up for anybody, because we're not going to set the world on fire with hundreds of people going like, wow, is Jesus waiting for us at the North Pole? And they tell me I smoke weed. Yeah, but I don't come up with, from the Bible, Jesus is waiting for you at the North Pole. No, I'm talking sense to you, and I'll be talking sense tonight. Yeah, the thing is you can rent it. It just comes included. Just I think for $150 you can rent a shoot. Now, I don't know how you got your record, but yeah, it should be fun. It takes, it's a good view up there above Canyon City. It's a flat earth nation. The golden age is past because the mud flood was Armageddon. I'm never going to tell you anything else, and neither are my friends. Why would they? Why would I? We're trying to prove we have your best interest at heart. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara.